Hi guys, it's Cruz here. Today we will be doing something a little different, and probably what we will be doing for most of my videos. Keyword, probably. I just need to say I love roller coasters, and I really want to become a coaster enthusiast, which I am beginning my coaster count. But I've been on one of the worst coasters ever, and guess what I rode? I rode the Manhattan Express. And do not feel sorry for me, please. I went on that ride for for one reason, just to get the credit. Okay, let's get to the topic of this video. Today we are going to rank all the roller coasters at the famous Knott's Berry Farm. There is a total of 10 coasters there. One is a kiddie coaster, 4 family rides, and 5 extreme thrill coasters. So yes, there are also 2 water rides and a bunch of extreme thrill rides and family flat rides. But those are not the type of rides that I am going to rank today. So let's stop explaining the topic and let's get to the rankings of all the roller coasters at the one and only Knott's Berry Farm. Okay, so at number 10 we have the Bradley N.K. kiddie coaster named Timberline Twister. It is located in the Camp Snoopy area in the corner of the park. This is a kiddie coaster with a bumpy, short, compact layout. This kiddie coaster is also very intense from its kind. If you are on those last few hills on the ride, you will get a tiny pop of airtime. This coaster gets a fairly long line in the Camp Snoopy area. So if you brought little kids to the park, then I recommend going to the Camp Snoopy area first, go on the line, ride the coaster, and go to all the other rides Knott's Berry Farm has to offer. So now the stats. Its max speed is unknown. Its max height is 30 feet. It opened in 1983. Its track length is 480 feet. Its duration or ride time is 55 seconds, and its minimum height restriction is 36 inches, and its max height restriction is 69 inches, unless you have a kid with you. Okay then, let's head to the number 9 spot. Oh, and here's a POV.
Alright, campers, welcome to Timberline Twister. No eating or drinking. Keep all hands and feet inside the ride. Watch for loose articles like your hats and glasses. Thanks and enjoy your ride.
So at number 9, we have the Zero family coaster named Jaguar. It is located in the Fiesta Village part of the park, which is in the central eastern area of the park. This family coaster is not an intense ride. The only negative thing I have against this coaster is the few rough spots that are on the ride. But I will not say this is a very rough ride. This is at the number 9 spot just because it's a family coaster, and I know that there are more family coasters, but this one is a bit rough. I will also like to point out that most of this ride is straight track. But back to the more positive things. One positive thing is that it has a beautiful plaza. It also has a nicely themed queue for a family coaster. The plaza has a part of the coaster doing a helix around a water fountain. And the queue has a lot of statues and paintings and an indoor queue, and the queue is actually in a temple in front of the water fountain. This coaster can get pretty long lines sometimes, just like Timberline Twister. Okay, let's get to the stats. So this coaster opened on June 17th, 1995. Its max speed is 34.98 miles per hour. Its track length is 2,602 feet. Its max height is 65 feet. Its duration or ride time is 2 minutes. And its height restriction is 4 feet. Okay, let's head to the number 8 spot, and here's a POV of Jaguar. At number 8, we have a Mock Rides Family Wild Mouse coaster named Coast Rider. I mainly put this in front of Jaguar because, in my opinion, it is a smoother coaster and also, in my opinion, better than Jaguar. I know this is a wild mouse coaster and it's nothing that good, but it is smoother and has a more wild experience than any other wild mouse I've ridden. It is located on the boardwalk section of the park where there are two other amazing roller coasters that you will see later on this list. This coaster is one of the more intense family coasters because of its strong and sharp turns in that thrilling first drop. Okay, now to the stats. Its max speed is unknown. It opened in 2013. Its height is 52 feet. Its length is 1,339 feet. It has 0 inversions. Its duration is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And its height restriction is 44 inches. Okay, now let's get to the number 7 spot. And here's a POV of Coast Rider. At number 8, we have a Mock Rides Family Wild Mouse coaster named Coast Rider. I mainly put this in front of Jaguar because, in my opinion, it is a smoother coaster and also, in my opinion, better than Jaguar. I know this is a wild mouse coaster and it's nothing that good, but it is smoother and has a more wild experience than any other wild mouse I've ridden. It is located on the boardwalk section of the park where there are two other amazing roller coasters that you will see later on this list. This coaster is one of the more intense family coasters because of its strong and sharp turns in that thrilling first drop. Okay, now to the stats. Its max speed is unknown. It opened in 2013. Its height is 52 feet. Its length is 1,339 feet. It has 0 inversions. Its duration is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And its height restriction is 44 inches. Okay, now let's get to the number 7 spot. And here's a POV of Coast Rider. At number 6, we have the Zamperla motorbike coaster named Pony Express. And I think this ride is pretty decent. It has those motorbike trains, and they can get uncomfortable on times of the ride, and I don't really like that. But the thing is that this roller coaster is just way too short. And also, it doesn't really have a forceful launch, and I get that because it's supposed to be a family coaster, but to me, in my opinion, it just didn't have a forceful launch that I'm looking on other launch coasters. But the cool thing I like about this roller coaster is the restraints. Yeah, they can get uncomfortable at sometimes, like I said earlier, but in the most part, they're fun. Okay, enough talking about that. Let's head to the stats. So its name is Pony Express. Its manufacturer is Zamperla. Its max height is 44 feet. Its max length is 1,300 feet. Its speed is 38 miles per hour. It has 0 inversions. Its height restriction is 48 inches. It opened on May 22nd, 2008. And now let's talk about the trains. It has 2 trains with 8 cars. Right. Riders are arranged across in a single row for a total of 16 riders per train. And I don't have really anything else to say. This is a okay coaster, but it's not like in my top 10 or anything like that. It's a great family coaster. It has not a forceful launch, but for kids starting out coasters with a launch or something like that, then yeah, that could be pretty forceful to them because they're experience it for the first time or 10th time, or I don't know. And the motorbike is actually a really cool restraint because a lot of coasters don't have that restraint, and not a lot of coasters have that. And yeah, that's really all my thoughts about this coaster. It's an okay coaster, and it has a forceful launch for starters. So yeah, let's get to the number 5 spot, and here's a POV of Pony Express. So at number 4, we have the B&M inverted coaster Silver Bullet. Fun fact, this was actually my first B&M roller coaster I have ridden. And also, this is the first and only B&M at the park. But we'll see about that in the future, if they add another B&M to their lineup. Okay, so let's talk about the stats. So its manufacturer is B&M. Its height is 146 feet. Its length is 3,125 feet. Its speed is 55 miles per hour. Has 6 inversions. Its height restriction is 54 inches. The trains are 3 trains with 8 cars. Riders are arranged 4 across in a single row for a total of 32 riders per train. And this is one of the taller B&M inverts in the US. But the only negative thing about this ride is that first drop. I don't even know if it's a drop. It's just really, really shallow. Probably about like 30 degrees max. But really, that's only the negative thing about this ride. The speed is great, the height's great, the inversions are great, and the whole ride is great, pretty much. Okay, let's talk about its location. It is located in the Ghost Town area. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about this ride. It's good, but not one of the best B&Ms I've ridden, but it's still up there. So yeah, let's get to the number 3 spot, and here's a POV of Silver Bullet. At number 3, we have a Gerstlauer Infinity coaster named Hang Time. This is the newest addition to the park's lineup, and it will also be the first major thrill coaster to open. The last major thrill coaster to open was Silver Bullet in 2004. So I think we can all agree that this filled a big gap in the park's lineup of attractions. Okay, now let's talk about the stats. Its name is Hang Time. Its manufacturer is Gertzlauer. Its height is 150 feet. Its length is 2,198 feet. Its speed is 57 miles per hour. Its angle of descent is 95 degrees. It has 5 inversions. Its height restriction is 48 to 77 inches. It opened on May 18th, 2018. Okay, now let's talk about the train design. So there are 3 trains with 4 cars. Riders are arranged in 4 across in a single row for a total of 16 riders per train. In 2018, a lot of people said that this was the number 1 coaster in Knott's Berry Farm, which I kind of disagreed with that. I thought my number 1 was Ghost Rider, and it still is. But in the past few months and years, people have said that this is an easy number 3, which I agree with. And that's really all I have to say about this coaster. It's a good coaster, and it's in the easy top 3 of best roller coasters at Knott's Berry Farm. Okay, so let's get to the number 2 spot, and here's a POV of Hang Time.